right, lead heads, we are back with another episode of the Talking Lead Podcast, because there is no other Talking Lead Podcast. This is the only one. Bill Hampstead.
That's right, it is.
Don't look at me that way. So, on the heels of our episode 317, this is 318. 317, 316 was FLEOA, the 25th biennial FLEOA National Conference, which Bill and I were at. And also our other guest that we have with us today was there, Mr. Chris Brooks from Buck Knives. Welcome in, Chris.
Hey, Leadheads, how y'all doing?
So we didn't get an opportunity to have Chris on during the conference because he was just slam-jammed busy, believe it or not, nonstop. Sold a ton of knives. They had those commemorative Spitfires.
Yes, sir.
The Blue Line Spitfires, which I was lucky enough to get one. So thank you for holding one back for me. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
And understand Bill snagged 4 or 5
Several.
of those. Yeah.
6, actually.
Oh, look at you go. Very nice.
Yeah, had to.
But we wrapped all those interviews up last episode with Mission First Tactical, Geisley Automatics, and Medicine in Bad Places. So make sure you guys go back, listen to that episode, because there are some awesome discount codes that Medicine in Bad Places threw out there for you guys. You buy one of their IFACs, and this is unheard of, they will replace any piece of that kit that you use in that IFAC for as long as you own the IFAC, I guess. I mean, he didn't really say there was a limit on it. So in addition to the discount...
That's cool, man.
Is that not cool? It's amazing.
That's really cool.
So the voice you're hearing right now is our very special guest that we're going to be having, and the reason for this episode. We've got Jeremy with Black Collar Arms. Jeremy, welcome in.
Hey. Yeah, thanks. How's it going? Sorry, I was supposed to keep quiet and let you do your intro, but
man.
I've never heard of anyone doing that. That is kind of neat.
No. You speak up whenever you want to. That's the whole purpose of this show. So we were going to get around to introducing you eventually. No, so Black Collar Arms, I don't know if you guys have heard about them or not. It was kind of weird how I heard about you guys. I was going through some of my spam email, and I saw this thing called a pork sword. And I'm like, oh no, what is this? I'm intrigued. So I clicked on it.
I've been browsing.
Right? So I clicked on it and started reading about it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you've got little children in the room, it's okay. You can leave them in the room. It's not that kind of pork sword. So guys, welcome in. We got a crew. Got a crew for 318. I love it.
That we do.
And also last episode, we gave away the silencer from Dooley Defense. And congratulations to Katie. Katie won herself that silencer. But we appreciate all you lead heads for taking part in that giveaway. And we've only got a few items left. We've got a $75 Glock gift code for their web store that we're going to give away. We've got some X-Steel Target gongs. And, of course, the biggie, we've got the CP33 from Kel-Tec. Wow! And I was talking with Chad today, and we're going to get together and we're going to come up with something fun, something cool that you guys are going to have to do to participate to win that CP33. But we will be giving you instructions on how to win that Glock gift card this episode. So stay tuned for that. So, guys, what have you been doing? Hunting season started, bow hunting season started here in Tennessee. So I was setting up the tree stand this past weekend with my good buddy Daniel. You know Dan?
Yes, sir.
Bill?
Good dude.
Yeah, he's a big hunter, and he's kind of my sponsored hunter. So we're going to see some pictures from Dan and myself out hunting this season, and hopefully that's going to start this weekend, looking to get out there. What about you guys? What have you been up to? I know Brooksy's been traveling a shit ton.
That's right. I'm down in Arkansas right now. Living the dream.
Arkansas. What show's going on in Arkansas?
We have the Mr. Crappie Expo going on right now.
Mr. Crappie Expo.
That's right. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like, too.
Okay. So
It is like world headquarters for crappie fishing down here.
nice. Are you going to do some fishing while you're down there?
No, I wish I was, but no, this is just work.
Just working. Selling those knives.
That's right.
Which you guys, speaking of hunting and things that rhyme, you guys just came out with that Pursuit line of hunting knives, or buck knives.
That's right. Yeah, the new Pursuits, and then we're coming out with another line of Pursuits called the Pursuit Pro, which will be using an S30V steel.
What?
Yep. Yeah. Slight upgrade to the Pursuits that we came out with in August.
Wow. I mean, people can't keep up.
Oh, that's the way we like it.
You just keep them on their toes.
That's right.
Very cool. Well, I know that we're going to be using buck knives during deer season this year, so we'll be getting some pictures of those as we're skinning those deer. Might get some turkey too, because turkey season's open also.
Wow. Nice.
I was contacted by EAA the other day. They're sending me one of their 12-gauge shotguns called the Gobbler. Have you heard of that one, Jeremy?
No, I haven't seen that one. I take it it's a turkey gun.
It's a shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun. It's supposedly tuned for turkey hunting. So we shall see.
3-inch Magnum and big old chokes.
I'm going to find out what all. Hopefully, it'll be here soon before we go on our first hunt. But
Cool.
we're going to talk about hunting with this pork sword, this mysterious pork sword, also, and different things that you can do with it. Before we get into that, I hear that Jackwagon train rolling in. Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead Jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
Okay, so the train has stationed, and we've got a pretty big load of Jackwagons to take care of this week. And we are going to default to our guest, as usual. And who wants to go first? Chris, Bill, Jeremy? Jeremy, you go first.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, mine's from a couple months ago, actually. I thought this was had to be gun related, so I was like, what happened gun related? And this guy, I crack up like every week about this guy. So 13-time felon. He had a gun in his pocket. It went off, quote unquote, shot himself through the testicles into his thigh. So he's not supposed to have a gun. He's a felon. He just shot himself literally in the balls. He asked his girlfriend, take me to the hospital. But on the way to the hospital, stop at my friend's house so I can drop the gun off, right? Because I can't have one. Right. So goes to the hospital. They put him in surgery. This is in Washington State, by the way, where I'm from. So he's in surgery, and a baggie, like a balloon of marijuana, falls out of his anus.
Yeah.
It comes out of during surgery. So for some reason, he's smuggling marijuana in his bum, and
he's worried about the gun. He's not the marijuana that's in his ass.
Washington to have marijuana, so I don't know, but that's just on every level. It's ridiculous. And again, 13-time felon, and this guy I think he was in his young 20s.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't know all those details about it. That's hilarious. That's funny. So he's worried about the gun felony, but he's not too concerned about the drugs that are up his ass.
I don't know why he hid them up his ass anyway. I'm sure as a felon he probably can't have them, but it's legal in Washington State. So I don't know why he filled a balloon with pot and shoved it up his butt. But we've all been there, obviously.
He probably just forgot it was there. He probably did it back when it was illegal, and he just forgot it was there.
The last 2 years.
It's been hanging around up there for 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, what to say? He was 27, so he's 27 years old, and he has been convicted of 13 felonies.
Oh my gosh.
So pretty, at least his work ethic is pretty good, because that is aggressive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy, he's still on the Jackwagon train.
Oh, for sure. He's sitting on an ice cold donut, probably.
This one comes from Leadhead Kenneth, and it's Fox News 12 Oregon is the story I'm going to be reading it from. Vietnam vet found covered with ant bites before dying at VA nursing home, family says. Says an Air Force veteran who served in Vietnam was bitten more than 100 times by ants at a government veterans home where his room was full of insects, according to his family. And I'm not going to read names. So this gentleman died Saturday at Eagles Nest Community Living Center in Atlanta, at the VA Medical Center there in Atlanta. Says she's not upset with the VA over the ants, but wants her father's story to prompt change. I mean, I would be mad as hell if something like this happened. I don't know why she's not upset with him. It says maybe this can move the needle to and improve the process. She said the VA is busy. They have a lot of patients and huge needs they have to address, which is not untrue. I'm sure they are extremely understaffed, and the people that they have staffed probably aren't the most capable, unfortunately. The Atlanta VA healthcare system said it always strives to provide veterans with the very best health care available. When we don't meet that standard, we hold ourselves accountable. That's why we have initiated a top-to-bottom review of this situation, blah, blah, blah. It says they apologize to the family, and they've taken immediate action to correct this issue. I mean, apologies usually don't get it in situations like this, so I'm very shocked that there's not some sort of a lawsuit or something like that going on here. So what happened was, she said they told her, we thought Mr., his name is Marable, was dead. We didn't know what had happened. Everyone jumped in, grabbed him, made sure we did whatever we could to get the ants off of him. The 73-year-old Vietnam veteran had a feeding tube, was weak from cancer, and his ability to talk was limited. He was still alive. Ross said the staff said they stripped the bed and bathed her father, cleaned the room, put new sheets on the bed, put him back in the same room. The next day he was covered with ants again on his stomach, feeding tube, diaper, everywhere. His daughter said she reached out to the administrator on duty, and they said her father would be moved and they would check on him every 15 minutes. An hour after being in the new room, he died. I felt very small in the world Saturday when my dad died. Now I'm able to share his story, and my dad matters to someone beyond me and my family. Now the world knows and the world cares that this happened. In a statement, the VA said the bedrooms at the facility have been stripped, cleaned, and inspected for ants. Other measures taken include removal of open containers, food in the open being removed, staff making more room visits, daily pest control, a third-party exterminator visit, and a future visit by a pest specialist from the VA. So, I mean, it's just a knee-jerk reaction. It's instead of being proactive, they're being reactive. But I mean, you hear these nightmare stories all over the country about our VAs, the VA hospitals. They're just not getting the quality care that they deserve, and hopefully that's going to change. And by this lady telling her story, yes, I mean it's good that she's telling the story and making it public and getting it out there. But we got to write our congressmen, got to write our government officials, and let them know that this is unacceptable.
Man, yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah. So I hate to bring everybody down with that one.
Yeah, that's a bummer story, dude.
Yeah, but it needs to get out there. So, I mean, just like she
does.
said, it needs to be known, and people need to know that this does exist, and it is a huge problem in our country for our veterans. And only we can, squeaky wheel gets old, so we got to be squeaky about this. So here's a funny one. Let's change our gears here. This is, I think this comes from Mark Peck. This is WDHN Dothan. Enterprise woman accused of trying to kill deputy booked in Coffee County. And the funny thing about this is this chick's mugshot. So you guys got to look this one up. It says, Coffee County, Alabama. Enterprise woman accused of trying to kill a deputy with a stolen truck is now back in her home county. And I'm not going to say her name. This chick was booked into the Coffee County Jail today on first-degree theft of property, unlawful breaking and entering, and other charges, adding to the one she earned in Elmore County. She's a chronic criminal here. This chick was charged there after allegedly dropping off a stolen vehicle from Enterprise and trying to run over a deputy when law enforcement arrived to respond to her 911 call. In response, the deputy fired his service weapon, incapacitating her, which I don't know what that means. I guess he shot her, and that's all the story says. But you gotta look at the picture. I mean, she just looks
She
like
doesn't look
trouble.
happy to be there.
She just looks like she's a handful. So, good story. It's funny. Enterprise woman accused of trying to kill deputy booked in Coffee County. You can Google that. I'm sure it'll come up. What about you, Brooksy? You got anybody?
Brooksy dropped off. He just sent me a message. His reception was horrible.
Okay.
So he is gone, unfortunately.
So Arkansas doesn't have the best internet.
Apparently not.
Well, that's a shame. I want to hear more about those knives. We'll get him back on at a later date. And oh, by the way, Buck Knives is the official lead quarters for the 2020 SHOT Show. Woohoo! So we will be there again this year. If you lead heads have companies, individuals, products that you want us to talk about, interview while we're there, shoot me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. Put 2020 SHOT Show suggestions or something like that in the subject. We'll start making our list. So this is, I don't know who sent me this one. I'll look it up here in a minute. But so this is California. Man named Sexy Vegan charged in sexual assault of his dog after video surfaces online.
Ooh.
So this is the guy's real name. His real name. A 37-year-old man whose legal name is Sexy Vegan pleaded not guilty Friday to 2 misdemeanor charges stemming from allegations that he sexually assaulted his dog and posted a video of the assault on social media. Wah, wah, wah. The West Hollywood resident, who was born Hansel de Bartolo III, is facing a count of sexual assault on animal and a count of posting obscene matter. He faces up to a year in jail if convicted of both charges. Officials did not offer specific details about the video, but said it depicted obscene matter. It is not clear how authorities became aware of the video, which no longer appears to be posted on any of the man's public social media accounts. Well, that's kind of odd that I guess it's...
Where do you start?
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook, they don't typically ban that kind of material. They encourage that, idiots. They'll ban our content of, teaching people how to properly use firearms in a safe and enjoyable manner, but, stuff like this, they tend to leave that up and for everybody to see. So, Sexy Vegan, if his allegations are true, is on the Jackwagon train. Just for changing his name to Sexy Vegan. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
To be fair, his birth name wasn't much better.
Oh, wait a minute. This dude's got an IMDB profile. You know what IMDB is? So IMDB is like, it's like...
Movie database.
Yeah, some kind of... So you look up an actor or whatever, and it'll tell you all the movies and TV shows and everything they've done. Or if you look up a movie, it'll tell you everybody who's in the movie and what role they are. Anyway, he's apparently got an IMDb profile. Says he moved from West Hollywood, moved to West Hollywood from Chicago.
And this next sentence is my favorite.
And legally changed his name to Sexy Vegan?
Oh, no.
He has his name tattooed on his forehead and chest in blue ink.
Oh.
Yeah.
The profile also describes him as a 2020 presidential candidate, an Instagram sensation, and a singer who released a 28-track album on YouTube called Ending World Suffering the Fun Way. Leadheads, do not go and look him up. Do not go watch his videos. Just take my word for it, but don't encourage this guy. I'm not going to read any. I'm not going to read any more about this jackwagon.
I was just about to go to YouTube and look that up.
Yeah, don't do it. We don't encourage him. Don't give him any more clicks. Oh man.
Wow.
All right, so let's switch gears now. Let's get the train out of here. Unless you guys have any more. You got anybody else? Any more jackwagons? Nope. Okay.
Well,
No, not really.
I love the one that I just recently saw today, that in New York, calling someone an illegal alien in New York City could result in a fine of $250,000. New York has banned the term illegal alien when used with intent to demean, humiliate, or harass a person, the city said.
That's racist!
Wow.
So New York is banning freedom of speech.
They should probably start burning books that say illegal alien in them.
They just should start burning books, period.
That's next, man. That's crazy.
I made a post, it was a couple of days ago, it might have been yesterday, of Sheepdog Impact Assistance when they did their tower run. You know, they do that every year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's called the Freedom Tower, right? In that tower called
the Freedom Tower, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic. You know, Paul Markle made this comment. He says it's kind of ironic that New York City has a tower called the Freedom Tower, but yet they are suppressing the First Amendment. They're making it illegal for you to use your First Amendment rights. Now I understand now I understand what he meant. Holy cow.
Yeah, wow.
They banned trans fats. They banned vaping. They banned every kind of firearm and self-defense. Like, super free.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The least free state there is besides California.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey.
Man.
I actually had a small pocket knife confiscated from me when I was visiting the Empire State Building a couple of years ago. A teeny lockback folder with wood. You know, it was just an old school folding pocket knife, and they gave me crap about it. I just put it in the little change disc tray thing when you go through the metal detector.
Right.
And they were like, where are you from, man? Like I was from, whatever, the podunk nowhere, because I've got a knife on me. At the time I was living in San Francisco, but I said like America. I didn't know I left it.
Should have said Australia.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Think that's a knife.
Yeah.
This is a knife.
I see where you're going with that one.
All right, let's get that jackwagon train out of here. And Lead Force 1, I hear it on approach.
Air Force 1 is with you.
Come on in for a landing.
X-ray, 16 rate, final.
Air Force 1, contact Reno Tower, 118.7. Have a good day.
Air Force 1, push it tower, good day.
So the pilot of our Lead Force 1 is the ghost of Charlton Heston, Jeremy.
All right.
That's awesome.
Seems legit.
The ghost of Charlton Heston. All right, so the plane has taxied in. Lead Force 1 is here. And I'm going to start off with our first hero. Chicago food truck owner killed while saving 15 people during a robbery. Chicago, mind you, another one of these cities that thinks they're making their people safer by all their gun rules and regulations. Probably has I think it has the highest crime rate of any city in the United States. But the story goes on to say, and this is Blue Lives Matter is the website that I'm taking this from. Defense Maven, Blue Lives Matter. Derek Goulston drew his own concealed handgun and confronted the attackers as they were robbing a local barber shop. A Chicago food truck operator with a concealed carry permit was killed while saving at least 15 citizens from two masked gunmen last Saturday night. And unfortunately, these statistics don't ever get calculated on how many people were possibly saved by a person, a good guy with a gun. But anyway, the story goes on. It says Derek Goulston, 43, was selling jerk chicken from his truck on East 112th Place when the armed suspects approached him at approximately 7:15 p.m. The suspects brandished a handgun, demanded that he hand over some of his property, and he complied. The attackers then stormed into the nearby Crispy Cuts barber shop. Crispy Cuts. That's fly. I like that. And announced a robbery just before they shot a 51-year-old man inside the business. Police said that at least 15 people were inside the shop at the time. That's when Goulston, who was legally carrying his own concealed weapon, raced inside the barbershop to end the gunman's rampage. He engaged in a gunfight with the suspects and was shot in the process. One of the masked intruders, later identified as an 18-year-old, and I'm not going to read his name, 18-year-old punk, was also shot. The second suspect managed to escape, and the search for him continues. Goulston and Smith, the punk, were rushed to Christ Memorial Hospital, where they both died within an hour from gunshot wounds to their torsos. The 51-year-old shooting victim was transported to a local hospital with 2 gunshot wounds to the leg and was listed in stable condition. This is a guy that saw something terrible that was about to happen, intervened, and it's the last thing that he did. Resident Nicholas Seidel told WGN, "In my book, he's a hero. It's really hurtful to find out that he actually passed away." Goulston leaves behind 2 young sons, ages 5 and 3. According to the police, Smith, the punk, was still wearing a mask and was in possession of zip ties when he was taken to the hospital. They had an intention to go in there, tie everybody up, and rob the place. I hope they catch the guy who got away. I really do. And then the story goes on. So, yeah, definitely, Derek Goulston is a hero and definitely deserves a seat on Lead Force One. So,
Agreed.
What about you, Jeremy? Who's your hero? What do you got?
I wonder if that guy was from somewhere else in Illinois. I don't know if you can get a carry permit in Chicago.
It says Chicago.
Said
says Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, and that he was legally carrying.
Yeah, a Chicago food truck operator with a concealed carry permit.
Huh. No kidding. I thought that was like impossible there.
It's hard.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Well, maybe after this story they'll rethink.
Yeah, you would hope.
Because guess what? The guy who murdered him and shot the other guy wasn't legally carrying. He didn't care.
Right.
Nope.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, mine is pretty silly and I guess lighthearted in comparison. It came to mind because it's personal. Like this has to do with me and with Black Collar, and it happened recently. So I was just thinking about it.
Okay.
Gun bunnies and such, right? They get a bad rep on Instagram. Sometimes people give them hard times, don't take them seriously. There's other guys that have really good reputations for being honest and objective. And now that I'm on the manufacturing side of the industry, I see a different side to it where a lot of these people, they expect free stuff. They aren't interested in doing anything or talking about it unless they get free stuff, or they can do like an affiliate link, right? They want kickbacks and whatever. And I understand that it's their business, but then they also go on there and they say, hey, like they don't talk about that. They act like they're buying things and doing objective stuff. And then Leah Speed 6 reached out to us.
Who is this?
Super popular. Leah Speed?
Leah
Speed 6. She has 400,000 followers on there. You know, one of the good-looking women who has a bunch of guns and machine guns, and she's on there shooting.
Sure.
And, you know, she's super popular on there, but she reached out to us and was like, hey, I see the pork sword. It's super cool. I'm really interested in it. Tell me about it. It's something I'd like to have on my feed. And I basically said, hey, you know, we're a startup. I don't have a budget to like send you a free gun. And she got back to me and was like, no. Like I pay for everything. I only put stuff on my feed that I'm personally interested in. I'm not promoting anything. I don't get paid for anything. This is for fun. I just love it. I love guns. She's got an SOT, right? And she got suppressors and machine guns and night vision, and she's just super into it. And she said, no, like I want the same thing that everyone else gets, like no special engraving, no nothing. I want what all the people get. I want to pay for it, top to bottom. So we shipped that out to her last week, and
nice.
100% legit. And she's at that top of the list that people kind of, I guess, poke fun at, or they, you know, the whole gun bunny thing. And I just wanted to say she's 100% legit, and I thought that was awesome.
And what's her name? Spell it.
Leah Speed, so LEASPEED, and then the number 6, Leah Speed 6.
I'm looking her up right now as you're telling me. So Leah, okay, Speed 6. Here we go.
And it's like she'll do the bikini photo, right? She'll do the gun stuff. But she's a registered nurse. That's her real job. She does this for fun.
Yeah.
And she knows what she's talking about. She's cool. She's funny, and she is not a quote unquote like shill, which a lot of people, that's their attitude towards most of these like influencers, and a bunch of them are. But she's not. Yeah. And I had no idea. I never really thought one way or the other. I don't have anything against like.
Well, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them on here, that do that, and a lot of them that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to firearms, but yet they're sitting there posing with them, doing stuff with them. But that gives people like her a bad name, and apparently it's not hurting her too bad. I mean, like you said, she's got 344,000 followers, so good for her.
Yeah. And I mean, nice. She doesn't go out of her way to try to like fight that. She's just on there doing what she likes to do. And
well, that's what you got to do. I mean, the people who know you, and the people who don't, you're always going to have, people judging. So to hell with them, And just for the record, I didn't ask for a pork sword, so I'm not. I'm not that way either, so I don't do that either. I mean, I reached out to you guys. I saw something that looked cool as shit, and I was like, I think this would be interesting for our listeners to hear about. And we're going to hear about it, leadheads. Trust me, we're getting to it. We're building up to it. But yeah, definitely, Leah, congratulations to you. And if you listen to the Talking Lead podcast, I'd love to have you on sometime, and we'll talk about it. Registered RN. Very nice. So any other heroes, Bill? Anybody come to mind?
No, I've got nothing, buddy. I'm sorry.
No heroes. I mean, this is like the third time you've been on that you just got nothing. You're fired.
You said that when first started today, so give me a break.
Yeah, but I didn't record it, so now I'm recording it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, hey, he knew ahead of time. I had to pull that one out of my ass.
Right, exactly. Bill's known for 2 days.
Yeah.
One day, we were talking last night when you
whatever.
told me about black collar, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So hell yeah, be on with you on this one.
All right, so let's get the plane out of here, and we want to talk black collar arms with Jeremy, and get to know Jeremy a little bit better. So, Jeremy, tell us about black collar arms. How did this come to be, and then we'll talk about the pork sword.
Cool. So. Chris, friend of mine, also in Austin here, he had some ideas for gun parts. I've been on the media side of the industry for like 7 years. So, testing everything that's on the market. I used to design car parts. I had my own brand, design and manufactured car parts. Cool. Worked for a major car manufacturer, working on their stuff. And, obviously been shooting since I was a kid, loved guns, kind of saw some holes in the market, right? So Chris and I started collaborating, and then spooled up black collar arms, which if you go on Urban Dictionary and you search black collar, you'll see that it says someone who's like pro Second Amendment. So you've got your blue collar guys, right? You've got your white collar guys, and then I think like we're all black collar, and to us that just means pro gun. So
I did not know that. So what I was thinking was black collar was like your special forces kind of, high speed guys. So it means black collar means just 2A supporter.
Yeah, the high speed thing is probably cooler, but this is what we were thinking. I hope people use it, who should I vote for? Well, vote for Jim Smith. He's totally black collar or that kind of thing. So that's where that comes from. The little shape in our logo, the A in black collar, that looks like the lapel on like a military jacket. So it's kind of that collar shape. Yeah.
Before we go any further, as our listeners are listening to us, give your website so they can go and they can check all this out.
Oh, sure. It is blackcollararms.com.
There you go. You guys go there as we're talking about this.
Instagram, Facebook, it's Black Collar Arms.
Black Collar Arms. Okay. Yeah, and then your A and the collar is kind of a collar.
There you go.
Or a lapel. Yeah, is that a lapel?
Yeah, from like a jacket.
Yeah.
Like a Yeah.
Like a black black tie affair jacket. Yeah.
I guess. Are you saying it's not a collar? It's a lapel, and we completely screwed everything up?
You did. It's
Shit.
a black lapel. Is it?
Gosh, dang it!
That could be your next line of rifles. You call them the lapels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna have to change our name, I think.
It looks like a collar. It could be a collar.
Just got to turn your head sideways.
Just make that one side a little bit longer to match. Just make them matching sides and it'll look like a collar.
No, that ship's sailed.
Anywho, it's a cool logo. I'm just busting your chops, dude. I like it. So that's how Black Collar came to be. So a couple of gun guys enjoy their firearms, had an idea for a product, and you're like, let's start a company. That's the American way.
Not just one, lot of different ideas. They're all coming. You know, we're working on them. We completed the engineering on a lot of different things, and now it's just a matter of, frankly, just growing organically, saving up the cash so we can make the next product. We just bootstrapped it ourselves, you know. So it's going well, and as soon as we sell enough of these Remington 700 chassis, we're going to move on to the 1022, and we've got a bunch of other completely different things.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about what you're making. So you're making chassis. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the pork sword chassis is a tiny, super minimalist 7075 aluminum chassis for a Remington 700 footprint action. And our idea there was to make sort of the most minimal part necessary to hold the action, and then sort of let the customer build it out from there however they want. So make it super modular and basically open source. We didn't want anything proprietary. So normally a chassis for a rifle is like this huge thing from the muzzle to the stock, and maybe it's all one piece, but everything is like you're fixed into that one manufacturer, and it's $1,400 or whatever.
Right.
So we wanted to have a little Picatinny rail on the back, a Picatinny rail on the front, accept any AR-15 grip, make it affordable. So the chassis is $300. It's $299.99. Have a bunch of different things that bolt onto the front. So different kinds of handguards. Right now we have two lengths of our far end. The far is forward accessory rod far end, and it's just a super minimalist kind of M-lock rod that goes out underneath the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
But for guys who want the handguard that wraps around the barrel, like we've got that on the way. And like I said, it's just a Picatinny rail on the front to attach forward accessories. So
I like it. I love it.
Companies and it's really light. That entire chassis with the far end, we've got a stock on the way. It's under 2 pounds. The chassis is only 13.5 ounces.
So you designed the far end.
Yes.
That's your design, your proprietary thing. You made that for your chassis.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So it's not part of it. It's an add-on to it.
It is an add-on. It's $40. So there's an 8-inch one. There's a 12-inch one. We don't want to force the customer into any like particular configuration. So you can get just the bare strip chassis from us. You can get a complete, entirely assembled pistol from us too. So wherever you fall in the middle, you can get a build kit that's kind of everything but the action.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring some of that AR-15 style, build it at home, pick and choose different parts from different companies and have a fun project kind of thing to the bolt action world, because that's never really existed in the bolt action scene. So that's what we're going for. The barrels we use have a little lock nut on them. So you headspace it with a go, no-go gauge, and you lock that nut down and you're done. It's nice. Really, really fast and easy. It's way easier than assembling an AR, and you can switch calibers. It's awesome. I mean, it's really fun.
And the calibers that you have right now, you have 300 Blackout and 308 Remington. Is that right?
Yep, that is the off-the-shelf ones that we offer. We've done a handful of other calibers. We've done 223, 6.5 Creedmoor, 458 SOCOM, and really it's a Remington 700 receiver, a short action receiver. Mm-hmm. So there's probably, I don't know, 24 or more calibers that you could build that in, from 22 long rifle up to like 300 WSM
into that 700.
Yep.
Nice. And these are designed for 6.5 to 12.5 inch barrels.
Well, sort of. So yes, we are kind of focusing on the pistols right now. But we have a ton of customers who are doing rifle builds. You can take your old like dusty Remington 700 from the basement and you can drop it right into this chassis.
Oh, sweet.
So it's a Picatinny rail on the back, so you can bolt a SIG stock onto it. You can bolt any of the other 8 or 9 stocks that you can attach to a Picatinny rail, or do a little adapter and then run any AR-15 stock on it. And then we're coming out with our own folding stock really soon here as well. But rifle builds, pistol builds, whatever. It's a super precise aluminum chassis. So really do whatever the heck you can dream of on top of it.
These things just look badass. I'm sitting here staring at your website, dude, and these things are just awesome looking.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. So why did you decide to do a bolt action pistol? Yeah,
that's a good question. I mean, obviously, we're not the first. The Remingtons had the XP100 in the 70s and such. What we wanted to do was make something really, really handy and compact, small and light. And in the United States, obviously, short-barreled rifles are a whole ordeal that you have to register and pay your tax on. With the advent of the pistol stabilizing brace, like the SB Tactical ones that we suggest and recommend for our chassis, it kind of changed the game. Now you have something that's easier to handle, much more stable, and you can really take precision shots with it. So you get all the benefits more or less of a rifle in terms of how accurate it is and the ballistic potential out of it. But then you also have the compact size of a handgun. And legally being a handgun has some weird advantages that you might not think of. There's a few states that have extended hunting seasons or completely separate hunting seasons for handgun hunting. And then in most states, you can't have a rifle loaded in your vehicle because of like anti-poaching laws. But you can have a loaded handgun. So, and then obviously it's not subject to SBR laws. So the ownership is much easier. You can cross state lines with it. You don't have to register it. There's a bunch of states, of course, where it's hard to get a handgun, like Massachusetts and California and Illinois. And this, because it's a bolt action, is exempt from a lot of those laws that apply just to semi-autos.
Interesting.
It's fun to shoot a bolt gun. We all own a bunch of semi-autos and love them, but there is something a little bit more like visceral shooting a bolt action. When it's suppressed, it's way quieter for the shoot.
It takes more talent, I guess, for bolt action. It's a little more challenging. So
it can be, and for me, it's just kind of it's a little slower, and you've got to concentrate a little bit more on what you're doing. It's less like just blasting around and plinking, and a little more focused. You definitely burn through less ammo, but it's at least as much fun for me. I really enjoy shooting it. That doesn't mean we won't be doing semi-auto stuff in the future, but the idea of doing a minimalist and super modular chassis just really works great with the bolt gun. And actually, like I said, our next chassis will be a 1022. So obviously that's not a bolt gun.
Right. Great idea. I mean, this, like I said, the first time I saw this, I was going through my spam and I saw your email here, and I was going through and I was looking at this thing. I was like, wow. I mean, this is like the perfect, like minimalist bolt gun right here. Absolutely love it. And when you're using that folding stock, you put the brace. I'm sorry, it's not a stock. Use the folding brace option on there. But here's the thing, though, and you brought up a good point. I want to talk about this. Is it's a pistol. It's not a rifle, so you can't use this during rifle season for hunting.
You can. I don't know of any laws that actually limit it only to rifles. Usually your standard hunting season, you can use a firearm of whatever caliber. Right. There's a caliber restriction. They don't really specify what.
You got to check your local state.
Want to.
Yeah,
want to.
Regulations on that. I think there's some that specifically can't use handguns to hunt with, kind of thing. So.
Sure.
But I mean, if somebody saw this, they're not going to think it was a handgun.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of laws like that. They're caliber based, or they say handgun because they're worried that it won't be powerful enough to ethically take an animal. But there's a lot of those have exemptions for like Thompson contenders and stuff that are shooting a rifle cartridge.
Yeah.
Obviously, for those exemptions, this would fall under that too.
So what's really cool about this is that you guys, you make it, like you said, it's kind of piece together kind of thing. So if you just want the receiver and you go out and get your own stuff, you can do that. Or if you want to get a full one on your site, you can do that, and you can build it. You've got a little build your own pork sword configure, which is kind of cool. Talk about that. Talk about the different options that people will have as they're going through and building their own pork sword. I love saying pork sword.
That's probably why it went into spam with pork sword right in the subject line.
It may have, yeah. It may have been.
In the future, I'd love that configured to be like an automotive one where you change the options and the picture just changes and you can see kind of what you're doing. And we're sort of close to that, where when you select some of the options, the little thumbnail will change so you can see what each thing looks like.
Right.
But basically, you start out with the chassis and a barreled action. Choose your barrel length, choose your cartridge, and then you can go down and choose your far-end length. You can choose what brace you wanted. If you want to upgrade the trigger from the factory Remington one, you can do that. We offer custom Cerakote. There's some engraving options, even all the way down to optics and stuff. So there's just these little like drop-down things in the configurator, and you can build it out how you want. We get your order, and we assemble it all, test fire it, and ship it off to your FFL.
Very cool. And what's the turn time on these right now?
It's a month.
About a month?
Yeah, I think it will be shorter than that pretty soon. But as we ramp up, I'm doing also a little bit more test firing than we probably will in the future. Like we're accuracy testing every single one and putting more rounds to it to make sure that everything is great with it in the beginning. And then we'll probably wean that off a little bit.
Right.
But month, make sure everything's perfect. And that also accounts for Cerakote. A lot of that stuff is on demand. So that adds a week, and we're trying to build all that fudge factor into there.
Which triggers are you using?
So we offer, everything kind of on those configurators, we've chosen what we think is like a best affordable option, and then what is kind of the best option. Mm-hmm. So for most of those things, there's at least two choices. So you can do a Trigger Tech primary if you want to upgrade the factory one, but keep it affordable. Mm-hmm. And those are awesome triggers and they look really good. And then if you want to go with something nutso, it's the new Elfman Tactical, the Elf 700 trigger, it looks super cool and it's amazing. It's adjustable from like 3 ounces all the way up to 5 pounds.
I've got one for my AR. Yeah, I love those. I love the
Yeah, and they just released the Remington 700 one in the beginning of August, and it's a great trigger.
Nice. So this is something you lead heads definitely want to check out. Go to their websites, blackcollararms.com. Same thing for the social medias, right? Black Collar Arms.
Yeah, that's right.
Just look those up there, and
it's kind of fun to go on there and like build it all out and see what you'd end up with.
Yeah, you said the receivers start at like $399 or something like that. What's a full built?
So yeah, the chassis itself is $300. The least expensive build you can come up with is $899.
Okay.
And I think our average is more like $1,600, $1,800, because people are adding a lot of stuff, which is cool. You can put a bipod on it, all sorts of things.
Options are good.
Options are good.
So this is
$500 pistol. Oops.
Yeah. So the bipod,
if you pick or something,
you can put a bipod on one of these legally. Is that correct? So that doesn't count like a vertical foregrip.
It doesn't count as a vertical forward grip. Actually, I mean, there is a bipod on the market that is a forward grip, and then the legs shoot out the bottom. Don't use that one. An actual bipod like the Magpul ones that we carry are not a vertical forward grip.
Okay, because that's something that I've not really thought about before when it comes to the pistols. And I know you can't do the vertical foregrips, but you can put a bipod on there, and that's perfectly legal.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Good. Nice. No, these are badass. I absolutely love it. So you're talking about you guys have lots of ideas, things coming, things that you're working on. What else you got in the works? What's next from Black Collar Arms?
That's a good question. There's some things that we're not quite ready to talk about, but obviously more inlets for different guns for the chassis. Our stock option coming out. We're excited about that because it's a skeletonized aluminum folding stock. And there's a few of those, like the SIG is probably the most common example. The difference is it's a normal rifle length of pull. Everyone else is doing like a PDW kind of a stock. So this will have an adjustable cheek rest on it, adjustable length of pull. It's a little bit longer, so you're at the normal rifle length, not a shorty length. Still folds, super lightweight. So I think that's going to be a cool option. And it bolts to a Picatinny rail, right? So you can use it on any gun on the market that has a Picatinny rail on the back. So that will be available on its own as well. After that, we have our SOT now as of a few weeks ago. So we will be doing some SOT required items, suppressor kind of stuff.
Very cool. And you got a kind of a date on that yet? The stock?
The stock, about a month.
In about a month. Okay, nice.
This month, we're going to be shipping the first ones. It will just have a fixed mount on it. That hinge, we're tweaking the final design on the hinge, and that'll be delayed a little bit. But yeah, coming very soon.
Very nice. So that, and you said that would be for anything that's got a Picatinny rail on the back. You'd be able to put that on. Very cool.
And a ton of guns, have a Picatinny rail adapter now available for them. You can get that for the SCAR and for AKs and for CZ Scorpion and even for ARs and the SIG MPX and MCX have pick rails on the back.
Yeah.
More and more are going to that, which I think is cool. It's super universal, obviously.
Yeah.
Like those Brownells, the new uppers, the BRN 180 uppers, those are perfect to put on a lower that has a pick rail on the back because it doesn't use the buffer tube. There's no, it doesn't go back out of the receiver.
Right. Now it's time for the Talking Lead
Fact to fight the myths.
And this has to do with the pistol-sized bolt-action rifles. So you want to take this, Jeremy? What's the fact to fight the myth you've got on there?
Well, definitely when our stuff gets reposted somewhere else, and we make some very short bolt-action pistols, like a 6.5-inch 300 Blackout, and the 10-inch 308s, and it's different, right? We're not used to seeing such short barrels on 308 style cartridges,
right? Definitely 308.
So a lot of comments, yeah, right. A 10-inch 308, like that's ridiculous. So that's never really been a thing before. No one is really used to seeing that, and we get a lot of comments like, "Well, that's cool looking, but it's obviously worthless. Like, it's a wall hanger.
Yeah.
It can't possibly make any decent groups, and what are you going to shoot it out to like 50 yards, and the bullet just falls out of the air and hits the ground?" And like, I understand those comments 100%. The funny thing is, the ballistics are actually way better than you would think. For instance, from an actual 10-inch dead-on 308 shooting factory federal gold medal 185 grain burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Those 185 grain bullets, they don't first go subsonic here in Texas at low elevation, which is worse, until 930 yards. And you're good in terms of the foot pounds of energy that people want for like a whitetail sized game and hogs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're good out to like 450 yards from that thing. And they're accurate. There's no correlation whatsoever between barrel length and accuracy. Obviously, you do lose velocity. It's actually way less than most people assume you would lose.
Mm-hmm.
We're still
Are
seeing,
you doing some studies on that?
Yeah, it's out there, but we've done a bunch of chronograph stuff ourselves. There's a little bit of chronograph data on our website on the chassis page. But with lighter grain weight bullets in 308, you're getting up to 2,500, 2,600 feet per second. Those 185 grain burgers, which are awesome, will do 2,185, almost 2,200 feet per second from a 10-inch barrel, which is great. And those bullets are specifically designed to stay stable through transonic and into subsonic. And yeah, if you want to shoot steel at a mile with those, you totally can. They're going to stay accurate. A lot of these guns that we've built on the nicer, like the high-end actions with good barrels, they're sub-half-minute guns, and that's 5 rounds at 100 yards. There's just, as long as your bullet is stable, and so you have to take into account maybe the slightly lower velocity, maybe you need to do a slightly faster twist rate or something,
Mm-hmm.
But in most cases you really don't. But there's just, there is no loss whatsoever in accuracy as you go shorter on the barrel. And in some cases, it's actually better because the barrel's way stiffer. Like you make it shorter, it doesn't flex as much. There's not as much harmonics going on while you're shooting. It doesn't walk as much when you get it hot. So, and obviously it's way lighter too. So there's a lot of advantages to going with a shorter barrel, and it just depends what you're doing with it.
So for game hunting, what distances do you recommend, for the 308, the 300 blackout?
I was going to ask.
So, yeah, with 300 blackout, the same as always for 300 blackout, that cartridge was designed for a 9-inch barrel, and 9-inch is the most common one that we sell. So that's, for game, a lot of people are hunting deer with subsonic 300 blackout, and there's some rounds out there that are decent at it. I don't know necessarily if I'm like 100% comfortable with that. I'd shoot pigs and stuff. I don't know about a deer. But that's usually a 125 yard kind of a game. If you go up to supers, it was designed to be effective out to 300 meters. That's on people, right? Is what AAC was kind of targeting that for.
Sure, yeah.
That's supersonic. You've got basically 300 meters of capability with good ballistics behind it. And it's pretty much the same out of the 6.5-inch barrel. The subs do the same velocity as a 9-inch barrel. They don't lose really anything at all. The supersonic ammo, you're like 50 feet per second slower than you are in a 9-inch. Not a huge deal. And people aren't really concerned with the short barrels in 300 blackout as much because we're more used to that. On the 308 side, where the tradition has been a 24-inch barrel, and people who go like 18-inch are kind of pushing the envelope, right? The 10-inch is crazy. We do a 12.5 when we do a 10.5. But most of our testing that we were doing was a 10-inch even barrel. For me personally, I think 450 yards and in is where I'm going to shoot deer with a hunting style round, like a soft point. You've still got good ballistics out to at least 400 with a soft point in terms of foot-pounds of energy. Right. But like I said, for those guys who are shooting a deer with a subsonic 300 blackout, with the 308, that's 930 yards when you first get to that subsonic velocity. So you can reach out there and you can maintain sub-minute accuracy out to that distance, no problem.
So do you think in the competition world, there's some of these, precision shooting competitions that are out there, where they're lugging around these big ass heavy guns? Do you think we're going to start seeing more of this style rifle?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends on the ranges you're shooting at, because there are some advantages to getting the bullet way out there quickly. Yeah. I think if you want to be shooting past 1,250 yards and doing long range stuff, there are reasons to stick with that long barrel. If you're hunting,
but with this, but with yours, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but no, it's pretty easy to do a barrel change on this, right?
Yeah, that's true. You can swap the barrel out in 6 minutes.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I was just thinking. I was thinking out loud.
the chassis, it's just 2 bolts that hold the action into the chassis. So you drop those 2 bolts and you can put a different action in it. So you could have a pistol build with a pistol brace on it. You could also have we have a 20-inch 6.5 Creedmoor. That's a tack driver. That thing shoots like 0.2-inch 5-shot groups, and we've taken it out to well past a mile and made just super reliable hits with that Creedmoor 20-inch, which is kind of short for that caliber, at a mile. And in 3 minutes, you could swap the actions, and then you could take that pistol brace off. You could put a stock on, and you've got a precision rifle and a precision chassis, and go back and forth with one chassis.
What part of Texas are you in?
Just outside of Austin.
Just outside of Austin. How close are we going to be to Austin, Bill?
We are not going to be anywhere close to Austin.
Damn. We're headed to a hog hunt up in north west, I guess. Matador.
Matador by Childress.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That'll be fun. I think you'll have pretty good weather too.
Yeah, we've got some Vietnam vets that are going to be on the hunt with us, so it's going to be a good time. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, the first animal we shot with a pork sword pistol build was in that part of Texas, and it was an axis deer at 200 yards, like 197 yards. Nice. And it was great. If that bullet was 1 inch in any direction, it would have been a worse shot. It was perfect. Drop, didn't so much as twitch. Felt really good about that, and
now
200
you're
yards.
Using silencers?
Gun is not bad. Yeah.
You're using silencers? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely like shooting suppressed.
by adding a silencer on there, if you've got a 12.5 inch, it doesn't change. It doesn't change that it's still a pistol, right?
Doesn't change the what?
It doesn't change the configuration of the pistol to a rifle because it makes it longer at that point, right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, so they don't consider adding a silencer extending the length. It would be only if it was affixed, right?
Yeah,
so
and I don't think there's any rules that a handgun has to have certain under a certain barrel length. Like there's definitely a minimum barrel length to call it a rifle. I don't think there's a maximum barrel length to call it a handgun. I could be wrong about that. I should probably know, but I've never seen. And people shoot Thompson Contenders with 18-inch barrels and all sorts of stuff on them as pistols.
Okay.
And people make
we'll have to look that one up.
Lines, Yeah.
And I'm sure our lead heads, they're a lot smarter than me. I'm sure one of them will send me an email on that one.
Someone's probably screaming at the radio.
They're like, Lefty, you just talked about that 3 months ago. And I probably did. I just...
But yeah, putting a suppressor on it wouldn't be considered permanent barrel length, no.
Okay.
Unless you welded it on or whatever.
Right.
But
unless it was
it is
integrally suppressed, whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we were to do something along those lines, which we might, it would count as a 16-inch barrel, so that it would just be one tax stamp. You'd be buying the suppressor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Very good. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. This is awesome. I've seen some other, people, like you said, there's other ones out there, but these are by far the coolest ones that I've seen. And I love the minimalist approach that you're taking with this. I think you're going to get a lot of preppers, a lot of survivalist type people. And I think you're going to get some competition shooters once they see what they can do with this too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think once we start showing rifle builds when our stock is ready, I think that'll happen. It is pretty significantly lighter than most of the chassis that are out there. So for some styles of precision shooting, people like put lead in them and make them super heavy. But for other styles where you're running around to different stages and stuff, obviously you want to shed weight. And the stock is 11 ounces, the chassis is 13, and you can get a really, really lightweight setup in this thing.
And for your stalk and hunt guys too, this would definitely lighten their load.
Big deal. Yeah. So we got to do a lightweight build for sure. Get like a titanium action and do a short-ish carbon fiber barrel or something, and show how light you can actually build a complete pistol.
That would be
that would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Love it.
And we are, like I said, it's 70-75 aluminum. I think we're the only one on the market that's 70-75 rather than 60-61. Not a huge deal. It doesn't need to be that strong, but it's freakishly strong for how light it is. And that's some of the reason we were able to help make it so light. And we're making it here in Texas. It's domestic aluminum, trying to keep the quality up. And it's $300.
Nice. Very good. Guys, check them out, blackcollararms.com. And that was a good fact to fight the myth, by the way. So, Jeremy, talk about how you came up with the name for your rifle, the pork sword. Where did this come from?
Why do you ask?
It's just like one of those double entendres,
It is exactly like that. Yep. Well, yeah, Chris and I were talking about it and talking about, what is this for? And we're in Texas, and wild hogs are a huge problem here. They cause tens of millions or $1 billion of damage every year. And this is kind of, in our minds, like a perfect little hog hunting rig, a truck gun, really, it fits in a teeny backpack or whatever. So you can have it and suppressed. It's super quiet because it's a bolt gun. So thinking, hog hunting and kind of pork sword came to mind because it's for just slaying pigs, right?
You can quickly draw it out, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you just whip it out. And so I said it as a joke, but then we're like, pork sword, like it makes sense for the hog hunting thing. And then also it's funny, and it's a dick joke.
It's marketable. There's t-shirts, patches.
Yeah, I do love that little flying pig logo with the sword. So my sister made that. I was like, hey, draw up this. I want like a wild hog flying through the air with a sword, and that's going to be our pork sword guy. We call him Pork Sword Actual. And a dude tattooed that on his leg. Like he got a Pork Sword Actual tattoo. This really cool guy named Eric.
Funny.
And we hadn't even shipped anything. We were like, showing 3D drawings on our Instagram, and he just thought that the logo was so cool. But it does do well as T-shirts and stickers.
Well, you're losing the Muslim demographic, but oh well.
Well, yeah, maybe so. Yeah. Also, the industry really takes itself really, really seriously. And I understand guns. To me, I have a lot of guns that are just totally for fun. And the reason people build, 7 and their 9th AR is because it's really fun to do and shooting is fun. We wanted to make a really, really good product, but not also take ourselves seriously. So we are going to have fun with it. It's a little goofy. I want to have a sense of humor. I want to be a little bit lighthearted about it. Guns, obviously, are serious. You have to be safe with them. But at the same time, like, it's fun. We enjoy the shooting sports, and we didn't want to be a company that was just super uptight and serious. So we thought this was a good way to just come out of the gate being like, hey, you know what? It's called the Pork Sword. It's funny. It's a dick joke. Sorry if you don't like it, but we're going to be lighthearted and we're going to have some fun and we're going to make silly jokes and the product's going to stand on its own no matter what we call it. And that's
right.
it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's genius. I think marketing wise, it's fucking genius. So. I have no problem with it. I'm sure nobody else will that's, into guns and firearms in the second. They'll get it. It's one of those, they'll get it.
So, yeah, I mean, we also promised that this was going to be the only, like, penis-themed product name or joke. So the 1022 chassis, we're going to call that the 1122, as in, like, turn your 1022 up to 11.
Yeah.
Little Spinal Tap joke there, and then... The Howa chassis, we're still kicking around names for the Howa chassis. We haven't hit it. I want to call it like how about that chassis, but that's too long. So I don't know. If you have suggestions, let me know.
Call it the Waka chassis. Waka Waka Waka. Fozzie Bear from the Muppets.
Yeah, for sure.
Waka Waka Waka. I mean, you might get into some trademark infringement or something there.
So there is a suppressor on the way, and the name of that right now is just horrifying. But we'll see if that makes it to market or not. It is not a dick joke, though. So
okay, all right. Can't wait to hear about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll be shocked.
Well, very cool, man. This has been great. Appreciate you taking the time, especially with the short notice, to come on and talk about the Pork Sword and Black Collar Arms and where you guys are headed. I think you're going to be successful. I think you got a winner on your hands with your initial kickoff into the firearms industry, and I can't wait to see where you guys head from here. And just remember, Talking Lead is the show for exclusives. So as you come out with new things, get in touch with me, and we'll inform the lead heads and get the word out.
Oh man, no, I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Talking Lead, the show for exclusives.
Oh wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I basically said we're working on an integrally suppressed barrel that's going to be really freaking cool.
Yes.
We have not mentioned that anywhere else. That is exclusive. So
there you go. There you go, lead
There
heads.
you go.
We're already breaking him in, making him a custom. But you lead heads,
Awesome.
go show them some love. Go to their Instagram, go to their Facebook, go to their website. Let them know that you're a lead head, and like their stuff. Follow them, and who knows? Maybe they'll give you a little discount or something. For
yeah,
being
should
a lead head.
we should do like a coupon code for a chassis or something?
Well, let's do that.
Yeah, sure we could. Cool. Yeah, I should probably like Leadhead or something, right?
That is what we use. Have you listened to the show before? Are you a lead head?
I have, but it's been a while. I haven't done podcasts. I should dive back into it for when I'm driving around.
So yeah, if you'd like to set up a discount code, I know the lead heads would appreciate it, and they'll take advantage of it. So
yeah, for sure. How long do I have? Like, when does this air that we're recording right now?
So this is gonna go out tomorrow sometime.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because probably no one believes this, but that's like, you didn't mention this ahead of time. I hadn't considered that ahead of time, so I got to go like make the coupon code and stuff and figure out how much to do.
Yeah.
But,
so it'll be a surprise amount.
we'll
We
do
don't
it.
know what it is
We'll do
as
it.
you're listening to this, but it'll be a nice lead head discount for you listeners.
Yeah, and we'll do lead head, one word, all lowercase lead head. I'll plug that into the system tonight, and yeah, cool. That's awesome.
Very cool. Thank you for doing that. I know the lead heads.
Yeah,
really
I
appreciate
appreciate
that
you having me on.
So it's time for a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. I told you that we're going to do the $75 gift card. I'm going to tell you what you need to do to win that. So we're going to start that right now. And I did a video a few years back, and I'll tell you the date. It was 2014, and I'm not going to tell you which video it is, but you got to go back. I was shooting 2 different Glocks, and I want you to tell me the 2 Glocks I was shooting and which one I broke. So on that video, that's where you're going to comment. So once you find the video, you put your comments there, put your answers, put hashtag TL300 after you answer it, and I was going to try to tie you into this somehow because they can't really tag you on a YouTube video. And then also put hashtag...
You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. Can you tag people when they leave comments? Does that...
I don't know.
Can you track?
Sometimes.
I don't know. I was going to say do hashtag pork sword also on the...
There you go.
on the video.
Just whatever you don't Google pork sword and do like an images search. Just
don't
just stick with black collar arms.
Yes, black collar arms. But yeah, go find that video. Tell me which 2 Glocks. And it was me and Zeke. It was back when Zeke was with me. We did a video, and it was during SHOT Show. It's 2014. Tell me which 2 Glocks, and tell me which one that I broke. I didn't break it in the video. It was during a visit that we had at Glock's manufacturing facility that I broke it during the interview. So, and the winner is going to get the Glock $75 gift code. And I will announce that, I guess, the next couple of shows. I'll give you a couple of episodes because people typically are behind on their podcast, Jeremy. You know, a couple of episodes behind. So I always like to give a little bit of leeway for our listeners. So in the next couple of episodes, we'll pick a winner for that. And then we still have the X-Steel Targets Steel Gong that we're going to give away. And, of course, the Kel-Tec CP33. We're going to get Chad on here, and we're going to tell you what cool, fun thing that you're going to have to do to win that.
Nice. Those are cool. I have one here right now.
You got a CP33?
SP tactical brace on it. Yeah, I put a CGS Siren suppressor on it that, like, it weighs as much as like a
oh no,
Sharpie,
I saw your picture. You got a
it's so
picture of
cool.
that on Instagram. I love that.
Yeah, that is a fun gun. That's crazy.
Absolutely love that. Yeah, and then they've got their new 22, the P17, the compact 22 that they just came out with, just released that. So you guys make sure you go show Kel-Tec some love. Kel-Tec Weapons, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, and let them know that you're a lead head. Definitely. And then we've got our other discount codes set up, and we'll give those out real quick so you don't forget about those. For Modern Spartan Systems, it's TLCP15. You get 15% off, and they're going to donate 15% to Camp Patriot. First Tactical hit you guys with the 25% discount code during FLEOA's conference, and it's just FLEOA, FLEOA, and they decided to let you lead heads in on that discount. This is exclusive to FLEOA members and Talking Lead members. And Jeremy, just so you know, I don't advertise these discount codes. People have to listen to the show to get these codes. So if they're not listening, they're not benefiting. I don't put them on Instagram. I don't put them on Facebook. I don't send a mass email out. This is only to reward our listeners. If they're going to give,
that makes sense. I like how the first thing was like a scavenger hunt. That's kind of cool. That's fun.
Yeah. So the First Tactical is 25% off, and then they're going to donate 10%, an additional 10% to FLEOA. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of stuff on their website. I just did a little shopping spree myself. Got some stuff coming in for that hunt that we're going to go on, Bill. They're going to use on the hunt. Check them out, First Tactical. They got knives, flashlights, boots, shirts, pants, all kinds of stuff. And then Medicine in Bad Places, last episode. Code Talking Lead. You're going to get 20% off any of their products. And then, of course, remember that IFAC. If you buy their IFAC and you use anything in their IFAC, they replace it at no additional cost to you. And then 15% off their training courses they have. Use Talking Lead 15. That's going to get you 15% off any of their training courses. You go to their website, Medicine in Bad Places, and get their schedule there. ASP USA, their flashlights. I've been testing out the dual fuel flashlights, and I've been really liking their dual fuel line of flashlights. LED 20, LED 20 gets you 20% off any of their flashlights or flashlight accessories. So take advantage of these discount codes. Like I told you last episode, use them or we're going to lose them. You got to go show these people some love. Got to show our sponsors, our friends of the show, love, and they'll continue to hook you guys up with these awesome discounts. And, I'm not charging you guys. This is free. This is all free. We got no Patreon account. I'm not asking for money from you guys or anything. So it don't cost you a dime. It's just all free stuff. Same thing with these giveaways. So there you go. Bill and I are going to be going on a hunting trip, like I said, next week. So
from today,
we may have an interruption in podcast, but we'll be coming back with more. I may be able to get one more out coming up. Clint Emerson. You guys know who Clint Emerson is? Oh, I'm holding this book up, and I don't have my camera on. Sorry.
Like Emerson Knives, or is this a different?
That's what
Emerson?
I thought.
No, Clint Emerson, he is a former Navy SEAL, and he's coming out with a new book. It's called The Right Kind of Crazy, and we're going to have Clint on toward the end of the month. My Life as a Navy SEAL, Covert Operative, and Boy Scout from Hell. I was lucky enough to get an advanced reader's edition, so it's not released until mid this month, actually, it's November. It's not till next month. So 11/12/19 I think is the release date. So I'm in the process of reading this book right now, and so far so good. It's from the same publisher that brought us Jack Carr when we did our interview with Jack Carr, The Terminal List, and True Believer. I finally got those books too, so I've got a lot of reading that I got to do. I asked for books, the audio version. They don't have those yet, which would work perfect for me with all the traveling and stuff, You could just sit there, plug in, like listening to a podcast. It's perfect for that. But that's an interview I'm excited about with Clint Emerson. I can't tell you anything about the book yet. I'm under an NDA, so I can't say anything about what's in the book. But it's pretty good so far. And this is this isn't like Jack Carr. Jack Carr is like a fictional. He does a fictional character. This is Clint's real life stories and stuff. It's gonna be interesting. So there you go, guys. That does it for another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. Make sure you go and support those that support the show. Modern Spartan Systems, Kel-Tec Weapons, ASP, First Tactical, Mission First Tactical. We got some stuff coming from them. You guys are going to really want to pay attention when we get Dave on. They've got some new products that we're going to do some giveaways with. You guys are going to love that. A big thanks to Dooley Defense for the silencer. 1776 United. Get all your Talking Lead swag there, your T-shirts, your patches. And then you're going to go to Dipstick Hydrographics to get the, Bill?
Talking Letty, better than the Yeti.
The Evil Black Assault Mug, the Talking Letty.
Nice.
Better than a Yeti. Keeps your drinks minutes colder. Don't be a snowflake. Get your Letty. And go to Dipstick Hydrographics to get those. We've got a full line of new colors. We've got red and green and blue and silver and, of course, the evil black. And we're coming up with names for all those. But you can go there, and there's a couple of different sizes.
If you need help naming things, just let us know.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And Rats Tourniquets. Big thanks to Rats Tourniquets for putting up the tourniquets for you lead heads, the giveaways there. So, in the meantime, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app. Give us a big thumbs up, a like. Give us some feedback. That helps us in the rankings. And if you're on the Firearms Radio Network listening to us, go directly to Talking Lead, our feed, and you're going to get the show typically, 3 days, 4 days sooner than when I release it on the Firearms Radio Network. So you get a jump on these contests that we're doing and giveaways and discount codes. But until then, Leadheads, as always, keep your loved ones close.
And your black collar arms pork sword even closer.
Firearms,
But not up your butt. Keep it out of your butt.